So here goes nothing. So first thing first, you're gonna have to remove this igniter cable here. So there's different ways to do it, but we're gonna follow one step at a time. So I like to start from having some tools. Get yourself some good tools. So we got that out. We're gonna remove the fuel lines, but not yet. We'll do a little bit later. So I like to start off, as we take things apart, you will have more space, okay? So there's supposed to be a couple of bolts over here. It's missing, it's only one in there. So that is a 2mm. So we're gonna get that 2mm out of there. Okay, if you got all these bolts here, get them all out. And then I like to kind of pry this off. And it should just simply just come out. Just be careful this doesn't shoot out at you and all the bolts go flying. Keep everything in order. That is a key. So the next step here is I like to remove this head. Head has 5 bolts. They go all the way in there, and this is a 2.5mm. And just turn. Remember, we're gonna overhaul this whole engine. Not overhaul, we're probably gonna get the bearings. But first, we're gonna inspect everything. Okay, I just want to get to the bottom of why did it blow the glow plugs. So right now we're just removing the engine block, and you don't really got to take this off. I like to have everything apart as we go along. And you can simply just fish the bolts off from bottom down there. You know what? We're going to do that instead. So that way I'm going to put this back in a little bit. So, and also try to remember the cable, the red one is on the top here. If you reverse it, your motor is going to turn backward. So these things, come on. These things and you don't want to blow your engine turning it backward. Everything's going backward. So let's push these cables out. So the head block is kind of loose, but we shouldn't have done that because our video is supposed to show removing the whole block itself. So I like to also fish out these bolts from back over here, but that's something that we could do later on. Let's get this air filter housing out of there. And remember, you don't want nothing going in there. So what I like to do is I like to use a small piece of cloth here. I like to just stick it over the carb. And once we remove the carb, you also got to block the engine off. So this goes right there, just like that. We're going to leave that just like that. And a few more steps. So the next step here is going to be, we're going to have to reach all the way down here to get that bolt out. So once we turn that bolt, there's no stopping now, okay? And this guy should just come off, just like that. Let it sit there. We're going to go to the next one. And this guy should come off also. Okay, just get it off as much as you can. There's 2 bolts on the opposite side. It's hard to see, but they're all in the bottom, right from. Sometimes I've seen engine blocks where these cables are kind of on the way, so just push them out of the way. And also I've seen people, you see this, your head temperature sensor, it sits right over here, okay? The first slot on the block itself. So we're gonna push that tubing back so we can fish our bolt from all the way down there, which is all the way in the bottom. This is gonna make it's pretty easy to remove the engine on this guy. We got one more bolt going down here, and there's a yellow cable connected to this housing of the bolt here, and that is your ground. If you do not put that back in, your engine might just not start after that. So make sure that is in there. So this baby's kind of like 5-minute job, okay? Just want to turn that bolt as much as I can. All the bolts are out. Now what we're gonna do is I don't like to pull the fuel lines. I like to kind of push them from the back end. Get yourself a flathead screwdriver. Let's see if my camera can focus over here a little bit. There you go. And camera is not focusing. Should focus. Come on, focus on the line right there. There you go. There you go. The fuel line's out. And this line over here, same thing. It's kind of like it's snugged in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get my flathead here, skinny little flathead. Same thing. Let's get this line out of there. should have had done this. Do this first, because right now you see my engine is just moving around. So the fuel lines are out, the pressure line is out, and our engine, the beauty here is, see this light here? We don't have to take out this linkage. There's a slot there. It just slides right out. So now it's moment of truth for this baby to come out. But remember, we still got our temperature sensor in there, so it's not going to be completely out. So it should kind of budge out of there. So something is holding this engine block. So it might be that last bolt over there, which is out. So there's nothing really holding. Okay, I know what it's holding. It's this little guy right here. So, that is a 2.5 millimeter there. So do not lose this bolt here either. So this exhaust was holding everything in place. So the whole engine should just simply come out of the housing, and let's just slip this, the linkage right there, the throttle control. Our bolts are obviously gonna all fall out, and our temperature sensor is gonna kind of mess with this. So this Revo, let's put the brake on, okay? That's another thing. Do that, make that your step one, okay? The brake, just turn this guy all the way and make sure you know how to take off the brake off, because you don't want to kill that engine once everything is out. And let's slip and slide this guy all the way so we can just simply just get this whole cable out of there. So I'm going to come right back once this cable is out of there, because I'm going to need both of my hands. Okay, maybe I can just do it with one hand here. I'm getting it almost. Yep, there's the cable. There's the temperature sensor here. So it goes, I showed you guys where it goes at once everything has been completed. You got to put it back in the same slot. So there's our temperature sensor. So this engine is ready to come out. There it goes. Revo 3.3 engine block is nasty and it's out. So guys, beautiful little guy right here. Love it. So let's take a small break and we'll come right back. Okay guys, so a little bit talking about this nitro engine while it's out. So it kind of look, I just want to point a few things out. So first of all, let's talk about a little bit cables and wiring here. So this is your RPM sensor right here. Very important that it goes back, because it reads the RPM of the crank, okay? And it sends a signal back to your box optimum drive. So this is the cables for, remember I showed you the top one was red, the bottom one was black. That's the power and ground to your starter motor here. This yellow cable, this is your ground, okay? This is your ground to the engine block. And this blue cable right here, blue cable goes to the igniter. So if the ground is missing, the blue cable has no function then, because the ground is already there, and the booster box here, the starter box there, will send power to this blue cable here to ignite that, okay? So that's how that works. So make sure those are all in there. We're gonna take another break because we're gonna clean all this up. I like to have all of my stuff cleaned out. Cleaning is another process video. I like to use compressed air and blow everything there, get everything out of there. Talking about the nitro engine here, before we end this, okay? The nitro engine has so much buildup over here. This can only mean one thing, okay? The front bearing on this is leaking. That can also offset your tuning. Your tuning of the engine's never gonna run properly. So I am gonna order some bearings. We're gonna replace bearings on this guy. This can also mean there's a spill of your fuel. I don't know. It looked like it's submerging from here. Something could be loose in this area, but I doubt it. That's that. We're not going to focus too much on that, but I will just do another video on that. So pay attention to that. If you got a lot of buildup, you will also see dripping, okay? I did do a pressure test on these engines, okay? The bearing will leak. It doesn't make a big difference because bearings will leak a little bit. Do a pressure test. Okay, block up everything like I show here. That's that. But if you're taking the engine apart, put some good bearings in there. You don't have to go crazy good, but something decent. All right, so that's that. enough of that. Let's take this on the table. I'm going to clean this. I'm going to come back, and then we'll take the carb out, take the exhaust out. We'll tear the engine apart.